Stan, here we are, I'm off work. Didn't get to record the toxic alarm yesterday. Wind was blowing in the wrong direction, so I'm back at work next week. So I won't be off on Tuesday morning. It's paying down today. That's why I'm knocking out some videos. This one isn't really too serious. I'm just mucking about. So before we go any further, I made a rifle rack for me DX, my 4 deactivated rifles. I had to block some sponge in the bottom to make sure they didn't move around too much. A little bit of a safety cable across there to make them cat proof. We all know they come up here, start knocking stuff around and moving things. 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't want the Lee Enfield rifle flying down the loft stairs. It's maybe smashing into my face as I'm going to investigate the noise. Anyway, so, right, where are we? Trooper Cody and the old Sarge, great YouTuber, and may I consider a friend of mine, obviously online. We've never met face to face, but nice fella. He gave me a shout out the other day about the zombie apocalypse video that I did about the helmet. And then he's done another one, he's done 2 now, quite amusing. And I was actually in a charity shop the other day, and there was a book on what to do in the zombie apocalypse, end of the world, thing. And there was also a section on helmets, and it said helmets are no use for you. Now, I don't know whether they thought military helmets or bike helmets, but either or. Military helmets are no good because they restrict your peripheral vision, I suppose a baseball cap does, and affect the noise on your ears. So I suppose, yeah, like a Stahl helm or a Pazget would do that, so they're no good. What Steve did mention was that he's been researching it. I can't believe I'm doing this, but it's just a bit of fun. He's been researching, the white gloves will be appropriate in a minute. The other YouTubers, their take on it, and some people are putting on 10 things you need. One of them's a electric rangefinder, another one is thermal imaging, and such nonsense. You know, like just, he actually pointed out the ability to make fire. You know, zombie apocalypse, right? If you're going to take it seriously, try and take it seriously. Just think in these things, you know, we all watch the movies and the films about it, so it must be, it's popular. You've got to be able to make fire. As soon as a zombie apocalypse starts, power's going out, the gas is out, that's it. How are you going to cook your food? You can only live on cold rations for so long. So with that in mind, I got to thinking, right, okay, societal breakdown. Now, I am probably, maybe not this one, but to dispatch zombies, you're going to use something like an entrenching tool, aren't you? This is a West German entrenching tool, and it is actually idiot proof. I can't get it open. There you go. It's got its leather protector on, but you can imagine it's also got a spike in the back. That will be a formidable weapon against taking, you know, dispatching a zombie, because it's all to do with damage to the head and stuff, to put it out of its misery. And these were used by troops, you know, in hand-to-hand fighting, World War I, World War II, probably beyond. So that's for that. Now, what I got to thinking was, if the zombie apocalypse happened now, I think the zombies would go out in that weather. It's that bad. If it happened now, in the United Kingdom, so this is just for the United Kingdom, it's for nowhere else, because that's where I live. Societal breakdown. So, take these gloves off actually, well, for now. Societal breakdown. In the movies, the shows that depict this, I mean, the famous one, which I used to watch a lot, the hero is a police officer. So he's got a skill set that I haven't got, that my wife hasn't got, but he's got. So he sort of becomes a natural leader. So you'd think, say if you take my little street, I know that there's a woman up the road there, she's ex-army, ex-officer. There's a guy around the corner, ex-police officer. These aren't young people, they're my age, but they're still capable of, like, you'd think, right, zombie apocalypse, these are the type of people who go, right, we need to sort out drinking water, we know we did. But that's not how it happens, is it? If this apocalypse, I shouldn't do that, but you do, don't you? Happens, and it comes in the form of a virus, or 1 in every 5 people survives, everyone else drops down dead or becomes a zombie. It might be that Johnny on the spot is actually this half-wit. It could be the pensioner up the road who's 90 who survives, the bloke across the road there, my old uncle who's disabled, it could be him and me. So they'll all look to me, and I haven't got the skill sets of being ex-forces or in law enforcement or anything like that. Or anything like survival skills. I know the basics, I suppose, like if you watch on the TV, but I don't have that skill set to help myself survive. So if it happened now though, I can't then say, if you're planning it, this is probably a long video, if you plan it, you think, right, if I'm living in Britain, zombie apocalypse, do I need a crossbow to hunt deer? All this stuff. I mean, if you think about it, even if you had something to take a deer down, as the food starts running out, do you know how to skin one? Do you know how to gut one? Do you know how to cook one properly without poisoning yourself? I don't. What about mushrooms? There's woods near where I live. One mushroom might give you a nice full belly. The other one might make you see things, and the one in the middle might kill you. I don't know the difference. Even down to boiling water. I only read the other day something. You know, you boil water, don't you, to clean it, to sterilise it, in case of societal breakdown. But I didn't know you're supposed to sieve it, like put a medium, not a medium like spirits and ghosts and that, something like a pair of women's tights, gauze over the top to take out any, even though you've boiled it, any little bits of crud in there. I didn't know that. So there you go, there's something I didn't know. Water purification tablets, etc, etc, etc. So, stop talking so much, Stan. It happens now. I've got a collection of military surplus junk, as we all know. Would a pair of binoculars, 1936, Zeiss binoculars come in handy, definitely, 100%. No power required. They're reliable. And these, pocket size, stick in your pocket, no worries. What about some of the combat equipment, some of the military 58 pattern, like it's in the shed. I've got West German kit there on this guy in the corner. So yeah, all this sort of stuff would come in handy. DX, would they come in handy? No, because, well, I think I'm in two minds about this. If you had the Lee Enfield, say for example, the SMLE, with the sword bayonet attached. Sword bayonet is here, and that's a great big thing. Like, oh, that goes on the end of there. So you've got something that, would it be good at killing zombies? I don't know. I think an entrenching tool would be better. The other thing, you're walking around with that. Now I didn't think of this, but someone pointed it out to me who has been a prepper. If in a societal breakdown, you are appearing to look like a member of the armed forces, or you're looking like somebody, you've got a DIAC. If there is an element of military presence or law enforcement, they'll probably shoot you. Probably shoot you straight away. Who's that nutter over there? You know, so that's probably not such a good idea. Also, United Kingdom, we don't have the proliferation of firearms that maybe you do in the US. But that's not to say that somebody doesn't have one, shotgun maybe, sees you with that, and then and you've got nothing there. You've got nothing to really. It's just a broom. It's like a broomstick with a spear at the end. That's all it is. It looks the part, but it certainly isn't. Because also you've got to remember, in a zombie apocalypse, not that I've thought much about it in the hour or so since I've seen Steve's video. I'll go back to me earlier statement. You live in, where I live, small street, bit of a community. The ex-colonel, or officer, but I can't use a lieutenant, I think, colonel. Up the road, nice lady, her and a partner, spot on. Guy around the corner, ex-cop, blah, blah, blah. All these nice people, all these middle-aged, middle-class people, we're all nice, we all get on. Right, so even if they all survive, and she takes lead of my little street's new identity, if you like, or I mean, they always form little encampments, don't they? God, I am going on. I have thought about it. Or when I've been watching some of these series, you think, well, no, it'd work out. So she takes command. The ex-cops, the second in command. I'm an engineering type. I become the village blacksmith. I'd have to grow a beard. Anyway, stop going on. And have a liking for cider. Oh, the blacksmiths do. It works out great. Fair enough. We make a little town within a town of survivors of our little street. Problem is, in a zombie apocalypse, as you have seen in all the films and televisions, there's bad guys, bad men and bad women who come from maybe the wrong side of the tracks, or they've escaped from somewhere, you know, a jail or something like that. So they're gonna say, I want everything you've got. I'll take all your DIACs, I'll take your steel helmets, I'll take everything I've got now, because zombie apocalypse happened exactly 2 minutes ago. I'll take everything that you've got. So I need tools, don't I? These are my white gloves. So what tool would I have? And I'm not saying like out of all of the things I've got. I'm thinking maybe, okay, if you were going to be a prepper, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have one of these. Would it be useful in a zombie apocalypse? I'd say yeah, and it is. Bear in mind, UK, we're in the UK. It is the Remington Express 2.2 air rifle. So a little bit of I'll divert away from the zombie apocalypse thing just for a minute. Do a quick review. White gloves on because I hardly use this. It is in really good condition, and you do leave finger marks and stuff on the stocks, not walnut, and the metal is. I don't think it's gunmetal, but it doesn't do it any good. So I've got this on. So I bought this 8 or 9 years ago from a gun shop out in a market town nearby, and I remember in the UK. So in the UK, for people who don't know, Scotland you need a licence for an air rifle. England and Wales you don't. Air rifles have to be sub 12 foot-pound, or you need a firearms license. I think you need a firearms license. I'm not complete. Don't take what I'm saying as gospel. This is just my experience, what I know off the top of my head. Pistols are slightly different. They're under 6 foot-pound or 5 foot-pound. I can't remember. And you can't have anything above that with a pistol. I had to show my ID to buy this, and it went in a big old-fashioned ledger, with name and address on. The old fella who owned the gun shop, when he retired a few years ago, we went back to the market town not long ago, it's gone. He retired, didn't hand the business down, so closed the business up. So but it was nice to buy one. I did probably pay a little bit more than you would with some of the online traders, or even like a military or a gun show. But it was nice to get one from a real gun shop. It was a pleasant old fella, he was. So again, this is probably going to go off piste from the conversation a little bit, that in the United Kingdom now, they are, put this down a bit heavy, that'll come later, they are considering banning lead for shotguns and air rifles, air weapons. And I'm keeping an eye on it, because I have got quite a few tins of air pellets. And you obviously know the reason why, because it's getting into the food chain, it's poisoning other things, so you understand that. I probably should try some aluminium pellets or the other alternatives, see how I get on, because I don't know whether this ban is going to be outright, whatever pellets you've got to hand in, destroy, get rid of, or whether it's going to be, it's banned from this date, and you've got, you can use. Me personally, I don't use this rifle very often. I haven't been for a year, but what I usually do is just go to a local shooting range. They've got a 20-30 metre outdoor range with little bells and little targets that flip and move. I go there, have a go on it for an hour. It's actually quite tiring. Just breaks. It's a Springer, breaking it, firing it, and I've got it zeroed in. With it being a 2.2, I believe that you'd have to hit aim just above the target at its maximum range for it to hit, like fall and hit. But I'm not very good at zeroing in, and I don't think this scope's the best, to be fair. I'm sort of going just below the centre, but I have managed to get it where I can have a bit of fun. I didn't know, I mean, I'd been around air rifles all my life, air guns, but I didn't really know this till I got all of the different pellets. This likes your mid-range pellet, really does. Budget ones doesn't at all, and it doesn't like higher end. Well, I'm not talking like gold-plated things, but like, nothing too expensive for this one. And so this is like made in China, and it's under license by Remington. If you ever buy one of these, the rubber buttstock stinks for ages, for a couple of years before the smell goes. Nice wooden stock. It is very heavy. It feels. I have shot live firearms, as in rifles, and it does feel. It's got that weight to it. It's a Springer, has a moderator on the end, which it's debatable whether you need one on one of these. It is handy for grabbing hold of when you're breaking the barrel. I'm not going to break the barrel to put the pellet in, but the action of the spring coming back makes the noise, so it's very hard to keep these quiet. You're supposed to use them in what's called an artillery hold. I only found that out a couple of years ago. So basically, you know, like an artillery weapon, a gun, the breech comes back in a sort of kick and action, that you're supposed to hold a spring break barrel in the same way, so it has a chance to, I don't know, maybe not. This isn't, I'm not going to go on too much about that, but yeah, as a tool. So I have been hunting, not with this one, not for a long time. In fact, mostly in Australia, where I've shot live quarry, pests and other things that was going to eat. So I don't have an issue with it, although as I'm getting older as well, especially, I'm more likely to want to go target shooting than quarry shooting, if it makes sense. So I'm not naturally predisposed to it, but I do. You know, I've been spear fishing, I've been rabbit shooting. It's something that I have done. I have used this in the back garden, as you might have seen in other videos. I've got a decent sized back garden. The law in Britain, as far as I'm aware, is that you're allowed to do it as long as the pellet doesn't leave the boundary of your property and you're away from the centre of a road, so many yards away from the centre of a road or metres. So I'm very careful, but also there's a lot of cats hanging around this area, not just my own, and bits of other wildlife coming in the garden. I don't want any accidents, so I very rarely have ever used this in the garden. Maybe I was just sighting it in. If I'm going to use it, go down the range where it's nice and safe, and yeah, no one's going to get hurt or anything. So that's where we are with the Remington Express. So back to the zombie apocalypse. Why would I pick this? Probably against the DX. If you have to take one gun-shaped thing, well, it's no good for dispatching zombies, is it at all? The pellet, the zombie's just going to go, my brains. So if you use it as a rifle butt sort of zombie, you're probably going to break it. So that's that knackered. Your zombie dispatching has got to be done with the entrenching tool, as was in the corner. What is this good for? Well, as the stocks of food are going to run out, your tinned food, everything else, zombie apocalypse isn't going to start then stop. It's going to go on for years till you learn how to plant vegetables, stuff like that. You know, you've seen all the movies. And also there's going to be other people going down to the local supermarket, they're grabbing stuff. It's not going to last long. All the fresh stuff's going to go straight away. So you're going to need to provide some protein for your diet. So would this take down a rabbit or something like that, a small game? Easy, 100%. This would definitely do it. It's powerful enough. It's right up there to, I think these are advertised at 11.5 foot-pound. Legal limit's 12, so they always make them just a bit under. So this is definitely okay for that sort of work. And also, again, societal breakdown. If you were going to the local supermarket, Mrs. Stan survived, hopefully. So me and Mrs. Stan are perusing what's left of the tin stuff. I'm not talking about threatening anybody or anything like that, or using it in self-defense, even though the law has completely broken down. But having this in your hand, maybe with a strap, maybe a sling as well, you can buy them when you go. But eBay's gone, societal breakdown. You can make a sling. Having one of these in your hand, even though it's an air rifle, would be better than not having something in your hand, wouldn't it? Because maybe the person who wants to steal your alphabet spaghetti hoops that you've got, the last tin, he or she might only have, I don't know, a K98 bayonet. Now, whilst you can use that again and again and again as a weapon, they're going to have to run at you, and you're going to have this probably loaded. You know, they're going to risk getting shot by this, probably not. So zero is any good for zombies in the zombie apocalypse. But some of the zombie films I've seen, the zombies start rotting away anyway, so they're going to be less of a problem. This would just be an ideal tool for supplementing your diet as the food stocks run down. Air pellets are relatively easy to get hold of in Britain. You've also got to remember, say you've got a tin of pellets with 400 in, they're that big. The ideal sort of probably live firearm for this sort of thing would be maybe a little 2.2 rifle. So 400 of them is in a big box. Also, presuming you're setting up your camp or your hidey hole somewhere, away from other people. If you're using a 2.2 rifle to fire at small game, other people can hear you more than they'd hear this, so they might think, oh, what's he got over there? And also, you've got to remember, anyone who doesn't like anything to do with, one of my friends, he's never been into, like, he's never shot anything in his life. Fair play, respect his beliefs. Societal breakdown. I live near an area, where I live, there's rabbits all over the place. The landowner, not far from me, culls them every now and again, along with the squirrels, but they're getting increasingly more and more. They haven't culled them for a while, for whatever reason. And the squirrels are digging holes in my lawn. I just found out yesterday, actually, they're burying things, they're burying nuts. There you go, who knew? But societal breakdown, zombie apocalypse, the rabbit population, the squirrel population is probably going to go like sky high. So there's going to be rabbits everywhere, and you might be a little bit less inclined to think about them as little furry creatures, more as a food source. That's all I'll be saying. I think, you know, there's a little river not far from me. It has a sewer thing on it, so a certain part of it probably isn't as clean as it could be. Societal breakdown, not as many people are going to be going to the toilet, so that river will probably become really quick, pretty quickly. So just most people within a suburban environment, you're going to probably find there's as food stocks go down, the clean environment will probably get better and better. So that's my opinion. Thanks, Steve. You've got me going off on a tangent there of 20 minutes talking of what useful tool I would take for the zombie apocalypse. It would be my Remington Express, or any budget air rifle, not too budget. A couple of £100 maybe, you'd probably go. That'd be the best thing. So yeah, that's Stan. It is quite a nice rifle, actually. It is quite a nice target rifle to shoot. So yeah, zombie apocalypse, still with Stan. And yeah, I don't. It'll be gas masks next. Which gas mask for the zombie apocalypse or something else. So anyway, that's it. And I'll see you. It's 20 minutes. See, I'll be back to work next week. You won't see me anymore. And I'll see you.